Oh, that's good play. First one into the body, the second one whipped it off the bounce. Shushin, 9-3. This is the one that goes early.
It's the punches that he gets behind that and his reading of it. It's really, really good. Moving his feet, getting right behind the ball.
Oh, it's fantastic play. Again, that punch and then the counter topspin. Again, Shushin looks a little bit, what on earth have I got to do? Just watch this here now. Look at that. Shushin's gone round the backhand to play his forehand, left himself wide open on the forehand and paid the price. And again, wide on the forehand, left himself exposed. Tomokazu Harimoto out wide to the forehand. Got to be brave to do that. This guy's got one of the best forehands in the business. And ironically, that's what you've got to do. Get out to that forehand and then pin him down the backhand side. And Harimoto's not afraid to of doing that.
The Nitaku ball that they've been using this week is set up lovely because there's a little bit less spin on it. Beautiful for these backhand punches.
Shushin takes the... Fourth game. Shushin leads by 2-1. Love all. Clever. Shushin just brushed up the back of the ball rather than going through it. Brushed up the back, less speed, more spin. Clever variation. Didn't quite get his racket over the top of the ball enough there. A little bit of top spin. Certainly float at least.
A good experience from Shushin, spraying the serves around a little bit more at the start of this fourth set.
The counter topspin letting Harimoto down at the moment. And he's called a timeout. Just senses that the momentum, the rhythm's not with him at this point in time. He's 3-0 down, so let's take a break. Let's just try and regroup. Chance to talk to the coach. I don't think he's doing a lot wrong, Gavin.
Court. Let's see if these tactics continue.
Oh, you just sense a few errors. Not quite errors, but things just not quite going for Harimoto at the moment. Topspin was very low over the net. Fast topspin into Harimoto's body. Harimoto couldn't get out of the way, so he ended up playing some improvised slap type shot.
It's not often we see Shushin as vocal as this, acting a little bit as a playground bully at the moment.
I do think psychologically, if you go on against someone like Harimoto, which for me, 13-year-old in the quarterfinals, is amazing, but you've got to forget he's 13. You've just got to play him like he's any other player. I think if you start thinking, I'm only playing the 13-year-old, then you're going to put more pressure on yourself. Oh my goodness. That's that forehand flick again. It really is exceptional. He reads the spin, he hits through the ball.
Another flying clean winner there. All set up from that relaxed flick right down the line. Superb linking between forehand flick and backhand.
Four 6. Harimoto with his two serves to come. Shushin doing well, forcing Harimoto away from the table. Oh, well played Harimoto. He gambled. He ran round the backhand, hoping the ball would come to him, and it did, and there he was, waiting with his forehand on the backhand side of the table, and he made Shushin pay the price.
Just love when these top professionals read the game so well, and so many times when they look to turn, they put a tiny little bit of side spin on that means the ball has more chance going back to that same corner again.
Backspin on the service, didn't quite lift the backspin with that backhand return of serve. Shushin now edging his way to a 3-1 lead. 3-1 in games, that is, of course. As soon as you give a slightly weak return to Harimoto, he pounces onto the opportunity immediately. There he was, in with a fast forehand topspin, and interestingly enough now, China have called a timeout. Qin Ziyuan, the new head coach to the Chinese men's team, knows how important this is. A 3-1 lead. It will be really tough for Harimoto, but if he can make it 2-2, then it's it's anybody's game. So I think the Chinese coach is thinking, let's just calm things down. Xu has a 9-6 lead. Just needs to refocus, think it through, get his tactics right, win this fourth game. So I think a sensible timeout. Each player has one timeout during the match. It's a 1 minute break in play. Now both players have used that timeout, so we won't see any more in this men's singles quarter-final. Timeout, 6 game points for Xu. And Xu has the advantage of service. Any one of the next 4 points for a 3-1 lead. Harimoto fighting for every point. 1 game point save, 3 remain. Of course, if Harimoto can win this point, he has his 2 serves at the end. Oh, he punched it back to the forehand. Caught Xu wrong-footed, and that's 2 points against the serve. Harimoto now has to make 2 points with the serve. A further 6 points has progressed, so Xu in particular taking his time, he's towelled down. And the topspin catches the top of the net off the end of the table, and Xu takes the 4th game, 11-8, and he now leads by 3 games to 1. Xu there needs 1 game to get through to the men's singles semi-final. Join us shortly to find out if he makes it. So we're back, ready for the action to start, and it's Harimoto to serve the start of the 5th game, 3 games to 1 for Xu. This is now must win for Harimoto. He has to win the next 3 games. Xu 1 of the next 3 games.
Ball slightly clipping the net there. Really good acceleration on that ball. After that little reverse serve, ripping round the left-hand side of the ball.
What happened there? Did it bounce on Harimoto's side?
Xu wouldn't have refused that, would he? There's no way.
Right, it was deceptive on the screen, wasn't it? The ball obviously came back and bounced on Harimoto's side. So the penhold grip player, Shushin, left-handed, 3-2 in the lead, 3 games to 1. Well played, Harimoto. A well-constructed point with a great forehand topspin down the line. There, he's got Shushin out of position, and then he just destroys him with that forehand topspin out wide to his forehand. 3 points each.
Breath of fresh air, that backhand punch followed by early forehand down the line.
Return just a fraction high. We've been critical of such a wonderful performance by Harimoto. Brave, just going for the flick out wide to the forehand. Again, you've got to admire the youngster. Table tennis brain way beyond his years.
Again, the way he's able to rotate means that he could hit that ball out wide, rip it to the middle like he did, or he could hook it at the last second as well. It's really sublime the way he... Look at this. Round he goes, can hit that any direction.
Shushin, 6-4. Could be the experience of the 27-year-old former world number 1. He's been number 1 in the world in total for 16 months, most recently in February 2015. So it just puts into perspective how well this 13-year-old youngster is doing. Didn't quite recover from it. It was a fairly long forehand topspin. Didn't quite recover quick enough for that backhand. Full marks for Shushin for taking it quite early, punching it back at him. Got it! 9-4. Surely there's no way back now for Harimoto.
These are all good misses. Shots that were flying on in one of the previous sets.
Oh, what a great backhand topspins from Harimoto. A wry smile on Harimoto's coach. But it's now 6 match points for Shushin for a place in the semi-final. Marlong's waiting there for the winner of this game. It's a pleasant surprise for you if you win. And there it is, a professional performance by Shushin against simply quite outstanding young prospect. The best 13-year-old I've ever seen, possibly ever likely to see. A wonderful player, Harimoto. 2020 could be a big year for this young boy. There he is, gracious in defeat, shaking hands with everybody. The boy done good, that's for sure. thanks the crowd for their support. But well done, Shushin. Not easy playing a player 14 years younger than you, and you're only 27 yourself in the quarter-final of a World Championships. That's a unique situation, but he held his nerve. He did a thoroughly professional job, and he's now through to the semi-finals tomorrow. Well done, Shushin. Great tournament. Tomokazu Harimoto, we look forward to seeing you play again. Well done, China. Certainly a child prodigy and a record breaker is Harimoto, winner of the World Youth Championships in 2016, runner-up in India in 2017. He was a top 100 player at the age of 12, which is just quite remarkable. We were talking before in the commentary box about how old you need to be and when you need to be a good player if you're going to go on to be a world champion. And 12 is just remarkably young to be in the top 100. There we have our umpire and the assistant umpire, who will be in charge of affairs during this fourth men's quarter-final. Super job. The umpires and the assistant umpires have done here in Dusseldorf. My name is Don Parker. Delighted to be joined in the commentary box by Gavin Rumgay. Gavin actually played in this tournament. Representing Scotland, came through the qualification. That's no mean feat. There were 600 players, I think, competing in this tournament, males and females, to get through to the first round. He's quite a feat, and Gavin had the honour. The pleasure of playing on table number one against Timo Boll, the German legend. That must have been quite an experience, Gavin.
Yeah, that was a big experience for me, and it was super to be in front of such a packed audience, even one of the first days of the tournament. But we were speaking earlier on about young sensations, and here's one certainly we need to watch out in the future. Harimoto.
I think Richard Bergman, many years ago, was the youngest medalist at the World Championships at the age of 16. So Harimoto some 3 years younger. I'd have to check the record books on that, but it's not far off right. And of course, if he wins this game, he's won a medal. So he'll be knocking some 3 years off that record, which is quite remarkable. Qin Ziyan, the new head coach to the Chinese men's team. Liu Guliang, the former men's head coach, has now moved upstairs, so to speak. He's looking after both the men's and women's team. More of a director role. Li's son is the women's coach, head women's coach here in Dusseldorf. So the players now well into their 2-minute pre-match practice. Xu Xin, the penhold grip. Player, team gold medal in Rio. He's been a part of the Chinese team at 4 World Championships. So that's 4 gold medals in World. World Championships. He was world ranked at number 1 for 16 months. Most recently was in February 2015. And I have to say he came back from 10-5 down in the 7th game in the previous round against his teammate Lin Gaoyan. Won it 12-10. Made the semi-finals in 2013 in Paris. But there we see the youngster straight into action.
This is what you want to see. The youngster coming out, all guns blazing. And he has had a super season. The pleasure to be right down next to his court at the Austrian World Tour. He played some fantastic table tennis there as well. And he's obviously progressed massively since then, some 6 months on.
That flick hit Xu Xin in the body. Such was the power and accuracy of the placement. Unlucky there. Tactics were good. Pushed deep into the backhand. Topspin down the line. Xu Xin. And just keeping Harimoto waiting.
And this is where he's really good, Harimoto. The 3 or 4 times I've watched him play, he makes you play the extra ball. Now, we were speaking earlier on about Shushin sometimes doubting himself playing backhands and having to play the extra ball. There's going to be lots of occasions here. He's going to have to play 3 or 4 good shots to win points.
I think the pressure is on Shushin as well, just looking at it from a psychological point of view. I think if he feels that pressure and he allows it to affect his game, then I think we could be in for a surprise. If he's relaxed, if he gets his shots flowing, then I think the favourite is Shushin. If he can overcome the psychological side and the point that you made, Kevin, about that extra topspin that he may have to play. I think he's in the driving seat, but the youngster Harimoto definitely in with a chance. I think the first couple of games are very important. If Shushin goes, Shushin wins the first game comfortably, then he'll settle down. Potentially he'll settle down. Then it'll be very tough for the youngster.
Good miss. He's just got to tell himself that. Lovely first topspin look back. Unlucky on that second one.
Classic example of, if you're the coach, you nod, because that was a great shot, it was a winning shot, it was the right tactic. No negative vibes. When a player plays a shot like that. 7-3, Shushin with a 4-point lead. Shushin has the nickname Anaconda. I think you can see why. He's just so wiry, he can stretch. Just look how far out there he is. He plays that forehand, then he's across, he's playing a forehand from wide on his forehand. So forehand wide on his backhand to a forehand wide on his forehand. What a good flick. Done a couple of really good flicks, hasn't he, Harimoto? Good technique, top of the bounce, into position, hits through the back of the ball. Both his parents are actually Chinese, came over to Japan when he was a youngster, but they actually played table tennis in China, did Harimoto's mother and father. Serve popped up. Good service. Shushin came underneath it. The ball popped up, and Harimoto, no hesitation, launched himself into that forehand topspin, out wide to the Shushin forehand. That could be the nerves on Shushin, just tentatively poking at the ball. Oh my goodness. That's not going to help the nerves. See the difference there? Shushin just holds back on that first topspin. And the youngster, no nerves at all, bang, just hits the ball. And he's now right back in this first game. There, just look at the emotion. Punch in the air with delight.
In first again, but he just couldn't. He had slightly jumped off the ground as he hit that forehand. He couldn't quite recover to the second one in his wide forehand.
Two game points for Shushin. Held his nerve then on those 2 points. And he has his 2 serves. It's going to be tough now for Harimoto. He's got to take 2 points against the service. It's a great return of serve. Long fast serve to the backhand. It was almost as though he was waiting for it. Superb backhand topspin. On the diagonal out wide to the left-hander's forehand. See that again on the replay. There, takes it early. Even the Anaconda can't get out to that one. First game, Shushin, but it was a brave return of serve. He went for it. He went for that backhand down the line. Encouraging signs, but Shushin will be so relieved to have that first game under his belt. We'll be back for the second game as soon as it starts. So we are ready to go in the second game. Shushin hanging on by the skin of his teeth there. Wins 11-9. And you just wonder now whether with that first game under his belt he may relax a little bit, open up. Good placement. You could see how Harimoto struggled, didn't know how to play backhand or forehand. Did well actually to get the ball back on the table.
That's that extra shot we were talking about. And he's very good at being able to mix the pace. Because Harimoto himself doesn't have a massive amount of pace, relative to the top 4 or 5 senior players in the world, he's able to change pace and drop the ball a little bit short. That's very clever.
In behind the serve with a very positive forehand. Interesting tactic going round. Normally people use the wrist in that sort of curving action. There he just went for the short push. He's certainly got a very good flick.
Just a great all-round game from when I watched him before. Great the short exchanges as well. He can spin up heavy on both wings. He's got that lovely backhand punch as well that not too many of the top players use.
The coach nodding his head with approval. And just look at this. That's as textbook backhand topspin as you'll see. Great technique, top of the bounce. Harimoto ranked 69 in the world. He's playing the number 3, 66 places above him. Is he fazed by that? Well, the answer quite simply is not by a country mile is he fazed by that. straight down the line this time. Clever placement. Shushin had gone round the backhand. He committed himself to looking for his forehand from the backhand side. Harimoto sticks it out wide to the forehand, thinking. Shushin is definitely trying to just slow it down a little bit. A couple of times he's done that now. Just trying to...
Deceptive forehand, that one, because when Harimoto serves and he can get round early. Look at the way he rotates his body there, a little bit like Jano Vivaldo used to do. You rotate your body, you can then hit anywhere.
Harimoto 7-5. Shushin with his two serves.
Expect possibly this time that Shushin goes to the backspin serve because he's been getting flicked out of the park recently.
Again going into the corner of the table. Shushin mainly pegging down the middle of the table there. You see the 42%, the orange 42. Shushin did well there, just took the pace off the ball and the spin off the ball. Harimoto needed to just hit that a little bit harder. He had to generate a bit of pace himself. Didn't quite do it. But he's 9-6 up now.
For people watching at home there, that was such a difficult shot to play against the spin. There was a slight little bit of left-hand side spin on the flick, so tough to play down the line.
A little bit of good fortune, but it's 4 game points for Tomokazu Harimoto. Punches the air, celebrates. That little sprint he does on the spot, 5 or 6 sprints. And then he's off back to the corner. I can't wait for this third game. We'll be back for the start of it.
The stats were firmly with Harimoto there, winning 3 in every 4 of his service deliveries, and if he continues like he did in set 2, this could be a very intriguing match.
Harimoto starts where he left off, getting in with that first top spin. Gave himself a chance there. Read that ball well down the backhand. He lost. The point there, you saw the coach clapping, basically reinforcing the tactics. Be positive. Go for your shots when you can. Of course, interesting, Japan have had a fantastic tournament, but the men's singles is the one event they may not win a medal. Koki Niwa, of course, lost in the quarter-final. And if Harimoto were to lose here, it would be the only one of the 5 events that they've not medalled in. Of course, they won the mixed doubles, runners-up in the men's doubles. Hirano got a bronze medal in the women's singles, and they're guaranteed a medal tomorrow in the women's doubles. So great performance by Japan. Harimoto, their last chance for a medal in the men's singles. And with shots like that, he could still do it. He's matching Shushin. Just 2 points adrift at the moment. But it's early days in this third game, 1 game apiece. Flick out wide to Harimoto's forehand from Shushin. Heavy backspin on the push from Shushin. Clever variation. first bit of positive body language I've seen for quite well from Shushin. Just seemed to be fairly subdued, but he just seems to be getting himself going a little bit. But how about that for a well-guided forehand?
Doesn't always need to be crash bang wallop. That was great, just caressing around the left hand side of the ball, waiting, and off it went.
Timing was perfect. Oh, that's good play. First one into the body, the second one whipped it off the bounce, Shushin. 9-3. This is the one that goes early.
It's the purchase that he gets behind that and his reading of it. It's really, really good. Moving his feet, get right behind the ball.
Oh, it's fantastic play. Again, that punch and then the counter topspin. Again, Shushin looks a little bit, what on earth have I got to do? Just watch this here now. Look at that. Shushin's gone round the backhand to play his forehand, left himself wide open on the forehand and paid the price. And again, wide on the forehand, left himself exposed. Got to be brave to do that. This guy's got one of the best forehands in the business. And ironically, that's what you've got to do. Get out to that forehand and then pin him down the backhand side. And Harimoto's not afraid to doing that.
The Nitaku ball that they've been using this week is set up lovely because there's a little bit less spin on it.
Shushin takes the third game 11-6. And Shushin now leads by 2 games to 1. Best of 7. We'll be back very soon for the 4th game. Fourth game, Shushin leads by 2 games to 1. Love all. Clever. Shushin just brushed up the back of the ball rather than going through it. Brushed up the back, less speed, more spin. Clever variation. Didn't quite get his racket over the top of the ball enough there. A little bit of top spin. Certainly float at least.
A good experience from Shushin, spraying the serves around a little bit more at the start of this 4th set.
The counter topspin letting Harimoto down at the moment. And he's called a timeout. Just senses that the momentum, the rhythm's not with him at this point in time. He's 3-0 down, so let's take a break. Let's just try and regroup. Chance to talk to the coach. I don't think he's doing a lot wrong, Gavin.
No, but I think it was a clever tactical adjustment from Shushin there, or his coach, saying, look, let's go a little bit more to the middle and forehand side of Harimoto. In the first 3 games, Harimoto's backhand was causing Shushin all sorts of problems, linking between the spin off the bounce and the flat punch. So maybe for Shushin, directing more into that wide forehand side is bringing a little bit more predictability back to his side of the court. Let's see if these tactics continue.
Oh, you just sense a few errors. Not quite errors, but things just not quite going for Harimoto at the moment. Topspin was very low over the net. Fast topspin into Harimoto's body. Harimoto couldn't get out of the way, so he ended up playing some improvised slap type shot.
It's not often we see Shushin as vocal as this, acting a little bit as a playground bully at the moment.
I do think psychologically, if you go on against someone like Harimoto, which for me, 13-year-old in the quarterfinals, is amazing, but you've got to forget he's 13. You've just got to play him like he's any other player. I think if you start thinking, I'm only playing a 13-year-old, then you're going to put more pressure on yourself. Oh my goodness. That's that forehand flick again. It really is exceptional. He reads the spin, he hits through the ball.
Another flying clean winner there. All set up from that relaxed flick right down the line. Superb linking between forehand flick and backhand.
(4-6). Harimoto with his 2 serves to come. Shushin doing well, forcing Harimoto away from the table. Oh, well played Harimoto. He gambled. He ran round the backhand, hoping the ball would come to him, and it did, and there he was, waiting with his forehand on the backhand side of the table, and he made Shushin pay the price.
Just love when these top professionals read the game so well, and so many times when they look to turn, they put a tiny little bit of side spin on that means the ball has more chance going back to that same corner again.
Backspin on the service, didn't quite lift the backspin with that backhand return of serve. Shushin now edging his way to a 3-1 lead. 3-1 in games, that is, of course. soon as you give a slightly weak return to Harimoto, he pounces onto the opportunity immediately. There he was, in with a fast forehand topspin. And interestingly enough now, China have called a timeout. Qin Ziyuan, the new head coach to the Chinese men's team, knows how important this is. A 3-1 lead, it will be really tough for Harimoto, but if he can make it 2-all, then it's anybody's game. So I think the Chinese coach is thinking, let's just calm things down. Xu Xin has a 9-6 lead. Just needs to refocus, think it through, get his tactics right, win this fourth game. So I think a sensible timeout. Each player has one timeout during the match. It's a 1-minute break in play. Now both players have used that timeout, so we won't see any more in this men's singles quarter-final. Good timeout, 6 game points for Xu Xin. And Xu Xin has the advantage of service. Any one of the next 4 points for a 3-1 lead. Harimoto fighting for every point. 1 game point save, 3 remain. Of course, if Harimoto can win this point, he has his 2 serves at the end. Oh, he punched it back to the forehand. Caught Xu Xin wrong-footed, and that's 2 points against the serve. Harimoto now has to make 2 points with the serve. A further 6 points has progressed, so Xu Xin in particular taking his time, he's towelled down. And the topspin catches the top of the net off the end of the table, and Xu Xin takes the 4th game, 11-8, and he now leads by 3 games to 1. Xu Xin there Needs one game to get through to the men's singles semi-final. Join us shortly to find out if he makes it. So we're back, ready for the action to start, and it's Harimoto to serve the start of the fifth game. 3-1 for Shushin. This is now must win for Harimoto. He has to win the next 3 games. Shushin, 1 of the next 3 games.
Ball slightly clipping the net there. Really good acceleration on that ball. After that little reverse serve, ripping round the left-hand side of the ball.
What happened there? Did it bounce on Harimoto's side?
Shushin wouldn't have refused that, would he? There's no way.
No, it was deceptive on the screen, wasn't it? The ball obviously came back and bounced on Harimoto's side. So the penhole grip player, Shushin, left-handed, 3-2 in the lead, 3-1. Well played, Harimoto. A well-constructed point with a great forehand topspin down the line. There, he's got Shushin out of position, and then he just destroys him with that forehand topspin out wide to his forehand. 3 points each.
Breath of fresh air.